get tired of feeling joint pain and stiffness every day? Today I'm going to go to the Scottish Highlands and explore one of nature's natural remedies, cold water therapy. So can plunging in icy water really help with things like arthritis, joint pain and injuries? Today we're going to find out. Having many injuries myself and arthritis, and also performing cold water therapy every day during the winter last year, I have a lot of experience in this. This is the first time this year doing it, and I'm going to take you to a beautiful location so we can test it. My name's John Craig. I am a bodybuilding coach, a nutritionist and an advanced personal trainer. I hold absolutely no qualifications in cold water therapy. However, it's something that I have practiced a lot in 2023 and 2024, and that was to try and find a solution to recover from my back injuries. Just a quick summary of my injuries. I have a burst cartilage in my left hip. It is full thickness, partial tear, so there is still some of it connected. That was the first main injury I got around the hips, and this stopped me being able to squat properly. It felt like somebody was just pushing on your hip joint at all times. It was really frustrating. This led to me with my can-do solution attitude. This is one of the times when it caused more harm than good. I still continued to try and squat, which I wasn't able to because my hips would just twist to protect themselves, and this created a lot of issues with my right hip, which I found out later on. So I started getting sharp pains in my right hip with any external or internal rotation, especially if I slipped on something like a wet floor, ice, seaweed. Unfortunately, I didn't find this out until later on when I slipped the discs in my spine. So the 5 lowest discs in my spine, they started bulging out and causing me a lot of pain. I was getting a lot of pain in my feet. I was getting numbness in my right foot. I was getting pins and needles all the time. I was getting pain that transferred across my lower back, through my glutes and through into my hip joint. It was quite hard to really pinpoint where it was. However, I went for a MRI scan eventually after lots of failed attempts at physio, and the MRI scan showed that I had 5 bulging discs and the end plates were all worn away, so there's no way they would hold the discs in place. I had to get used to life of no impact exercises, no short sharp movements, things like jumping, no more heavy lifting, and there was various solutions I had to look at to try and recover from that. And it showed that I had quite bad degeneration of the right hip, and that was caused from me trying to protect the left hip and the imbalance from the cartilage injury, which was basically arthritis now in the right hip, which feels like a stabbing pain whenever I move it in a certain way. It's also very weak. Recently I was skiing and I couldn't parallel ski anyway, where I had to rotate back to get, basically turning back to the left I wasn't able to do because my right leg was so weak it would just freeze and start shaking. And they confirmed for the second MRI scan, they confirmed that the cartilage, this was 3 years later, still had the full thickness partial tear. So that hadn't healed at all in 3 years, so it's likely it'll never heal. The thing with the cartilage though is I don't feel pain for that. The first thing I would do, as I do with anything, is how do I continue back to my normal life? Well, the doctor told me at the time, the hip specialist and the back specialist both told me, forget about your normal life. You've obviously been doing a lot of heavy lifting and whatever the other supports you do, they says you need to forget about them. You will not be able to do any more heavy lifting, you will not be able to do any more running, you will not be able to do a big list of things that I couldn't do anymore. So when somebody tells me I can't do something, that is one of the biggest motivations you could ever give me. Following on from that conversation, all I thought is I need to find a solution to continue my normal life because I enjoy it and I'm not letting an injury hold me back. I looked at various things. Since then I've beat all of my PBs from when I was fully healthy, and I will continue to do so. The main things that helped me was Pilates, yoga, a lot of stretches. A lady I know who was a yoga fanatic gave me some good yoga stretches and things. I'd done them for a while, and then later I started doing a bit more Pilates and things because I found that had a lot of good benefits as well. I'm a yoga or Pilates expert, but it seemed a bit more fluid and allowed me to move between positions quickly because I didn't want to spend all day doing it. I just want something where I do 5 or 10 exercises quickly in a 10-minute space, and I could do that every day rather than trying to do long exercises, long Pilates or yoga sessions. But they worked better than anything. At one point I was overdosing on ibuprofen. I was taking diclofenac some days. I was given depressant medication, but not because I'm depressed. I've never had any issues like that because I have always taken care of the things that affect your mental health. And I was given it basically because it had to numb the nerves and stop the sciatic nerve pain and various other things. So that was obviously, you would go to stand up and your foot would feel swollen. Your foot would feel like pins and needles, and you were scared to stand up because you felt like you were just going to fall over. And on the days when it wasn't going down to my right foot and my right shin, it would travel up to my head, or sometimes you were lucky and you got both of them. So it wasn't a nice time. I struggled to stand up. I had to dip getting out of the seat. And to be honest with you, most people throughout this whole time probably never knew any of this was going on, other than if they seen me trying to squat, because I had to go back I went from squatting over 200 kilograms back to just squatting with the bar for a few months until I built everything up looking for solutions. Now, it's a bit of a long story, but I just want you to, if these injuries resonate with you, maybe it can help you find a solution as well. So yeah, all the mobility stuff, yoga, Pilates was great, and everyone was telling me you need to do cold water therapy. I have extreme mixed opinions on how well it works for me. From what I've experienced, it doesn't quite work like how the fanatics tell you and how the physios tell you. And I actually had a lot more benefits from the heat sauna for a long time, stretches in the sauna, which was quite tiring after your workout, actually to get a sweat on, and then the jacuzzi. I then started using the outdoor pool as well, which was quite cool, which helped a lot. So the mixture of both of these worked. However, the heat was much better for the arthritis. The discs now, one of them is now herniated. I can actually feel it on the side. It's a big lump on the side, and since it's done that, actually it's given me less of a problem, but I've also spent a lot of time building up the area around it with the mobility work I explained. What I started doing with the advice of physios and just from research and that, mostly from the research I was doing online, I think 2023, around that kind of time, there was a lot of people who got very fanatical about cold water therapy, probably going crazy with COVID and couldn't think anything better to do. I tried it, and I don't know, the first time I tried it, the first thing I'd done when I left was went and took a lot of ibuprofen, because basically what was happening is my lower back muscles just clamped up and it felt like it was crushing my back and compressing it, which created a lot of inflammation. I took the ibuprofen and then felt okay again. But I'm not one to just try something once and then give up. I tried it again. I was doing it in the North Sea in the winter, so it's something like 5 or 6 degrees, I think it is. There was frost on the ground and things, so it's definitely cold enough. And again, I didn't really feel massive benefits to the back. The hip wasn't very nice either. One thing I did notice though is the mental resilience and the energy this gives you is incredible. So I would go there and I would do this, and actually some people say to me, well, you're better doing cold, hot. So it's hard to do that if there's no sauna, or it's like winter in Scotland, it's just cold. So what I would do is I'd go and do the cold water therapy, and then I would go to the sauna straight after it at the gym, which was really, actually, this to me was perfect, it was really nice. But what I noticed is after I would do my cold water therapy, I would do some sprints up and down the beach because I could run on sand, it's low impact. And then I would go up to the sauna, and then I would go to something like my kids' football or something. There's people standing there, with their coffees, half asleep, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I was doing my cold water therapy at 5:30, so by this time I am absolutely buzzing. To the point sometimes I had to actually tell myself, look, calm down, these people have just woke up, and I'd say to myself, calm down sometimes, these people have just woke up and you look like you've had like 10 pre-workouts or something. In this feeling of obviously getting up, so you've got up early, you've had your breakfast, you've exercised. I was only doing sprints for 10-15 minutes. That would wake you up again. You'd been in the icy North Sea, again wakes you up, and you've also completed something very difficult very early in the morning. So everything you know, all of that alone is going to waken you up. And then I've went again and had another meal. So I've went to my kids' football. It's just an example of one of the things, you know, and I've already had 2 meals. I've done my exercises. I've been in the North Sea. And if this cold in the North Sea doesn't wake you up, nothing will. So yeah, this was, and I was buzzing all day, and then the rest of the day I was so productive. That for me is that and the other thing I'm going to explain is one of the biggest benefits of cold water therapy. I do think for muscle recovery and things it's very good as well. For arthritis and joint things, I'm not so sure it's the best thing to be doing. So the other thing I think is absolutely amazing for, I'm a strong believer, and actually the Navy SEALs commander touches on this in his speech, which I think is a great speech, is about making your bed in the morning, completing a task in the morning, give yourself a pat on the back. And then obviously he goes on to being more difficult tasks. If your first task in the morning is jumping in icy water, going in the North Sea, going in mountain, river, whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be that cold, because they're actually colder than what the recommended temperatures are. If that is your first task in the morning, I can guarantee there is absolutely nothing in life that is going to feel more extreme than that throughout your day. So every task you do after that is going to be easy. So yeah, he touches on make your bed, then do difficult tasks. I'm telling you, get in the North Sea. But yeah, it's unbelievable how that works. But it's not just that as well. So you're driving there and you have got that nervous feeling because your body knows it's a way to be put in a stressful situation. It knows it's going to be cold. It knows it's going to have to build up and psych yourself up to say, look, go in there. And obviously your body knows because it's experienced this before. And I mean, it doesn't need to experience it before. You can just look at it to tell this grey, horrible water is going to be freezing, or it's black sometimes. So yeah, so then you've got this going on in your head. Nope, I'm doing this. You go there, you complete it. It's actually never as bad as what you ever imagine it. You come out, you feel amazing. Yeah, your hands get a little bit cold and things. And then you get back in the car and you're buzzing the whole day. And there's nothing anybody can come to you that day that's going to be more difficult to overcome than that. So yeah, really positive thing for mindset, for mental resilience. And I can tell the people who are doing things like that every day. I know a guy who does it. He does cold water therapy, and that he's quite fanatical about it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just it's something he really believes in, the breathing. And you know, I've never really tried the breathing. I get bored, if I'm honest with you. I don't really feel much benefits from it, but I'm also not very educated in it and don't put much effort into trying to do it properly or really researching it. But yeah, I do believe there's a lot of benefits to that as well. And then he also does a lot of like ultra marathons, and you know, when you speak to him and have a conversation, it's everything he does is quite extreme, and you know, everything's quite difficult, and nothing seems to bother him too much. Whereas you get people that lay on the couch all day, they're always stressed, they all have their mental health problems. You know, the hardest thing they've got at the end of the day is if their remote controls run out of batteries and they need to find AAA batteries somewhere. You know, if that's the kind of things in life that you've got problems with, or you know, you've got stress, mental health problems, and that's the sort of things you're doing in life, then I strongly believe that you start inventing issues because life is too easy. Life was never supposed to be stress-free or too easy. We were, if you want to go back to caveman days, we were probably meant to be out hunting, protecting our families, providing somewhere warm to stay, you know, defending wherever you'd set up as base or your home or whatever, defending that from predators. You know, not looking for batteries for your remote control after you've watched Netflix for 6 months. So yeah, that for me is a great thing. So yeah, the temperature here we're going to, I done some research, so it's really hard to find data exact temperature, and I don't have a thermometer with me. They said it's between 0 and 2 degrees. So it does say for cold water therapy, the ideal temperature is 5 to 10 degrees. It's -1 here just now, air temperature as well. And this is quite high up the highlands, so the water has been going down the mountains, snow up the mountains as well, so it's cold. But yeah, it's a little bit under what the temperature is, and then it does say at 5 to 10 degrees for cold water therapy benefits for likes of healthy joints, for muscle recovery and things like that. They do kind of say 2 to 3 minutes is enough, and that's in 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. And they say for mental resilience at that temperature, 5 to 10 minutes is enough. So you obviously need to be careful getting hypothermia and that. So there's no point trying to do these positive things. You try and stay in, be brave, and you end up with hypothermia. So great excuse if I scream like a girl and just jump out straight away. It's just protecting myself. It's not about the not weak. I'm going to head up here now. I will put the location in the description. This is a beautiful, beautiful area, even if you don't want to get cold and wet. Beautiful area for just walking, swimming, even in the summer. I swim in here in the summer and it's still freezing, but it's beautiful nonetheless. I'm excited. I actually got that little nervous feeling as well, so let's go and try it out. So you head up to Edzell, you drive through the town, and you'll see there's a little blue door just as you cross the bridge. Oh, exciting stuff. You might not be able to see some of this here, but what a stunning view. I think this is one of the nicest places in Scotland to come for even for a walk. Maybe not for a swim. It is freezing. So that says made it now. Look at that beautiful, refreshing water. Just ready to fix all my joints. What a beautiful spot. So when you look at the water and you think, I'll be old soon and I won't have to have stupid ideas like this. So what I'm explaining here is that it's just over 2 minutes and it's cold, but once you get in there and relax, it's not the worst. And my watch wasn't really working properly. I think it's to do with the cold or the water. It didn't seem to want to come on. And yeah, time to go and get warmed up and give you some feedback of how it felt. So yeah, that's that mission completed. Have to say I am freezing. So that's that completed. Yeah, it's cold. Feel my bones shaking, but my back is sore, so it definitely doesn't help that. My hip doesn't feel too good. No muscle soreness though. Mental resilience, yeah, 100%. It takes a lot to make yourself go in there. And then once you get in there, stay in for a couple of minutes. But you'll see that I'm so cold I can't even speak. But it's fine. Get back to the car, get warmed up. It's only temporary. And yeah, I do feel awakening, that's for sure. So, oh. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that alone. It's quite dangerous. I also wouldn't recommend doing it in that temperature. And this is a little blue gate to look out for if you want to come here and torture yourself. Great fun. It's always best to do it with somebody though, so they can keep you warm if anything goes wrong. Actually, I'm not too cold now. It's a few minutes now, a few minutes walking, I'm actually okay, so no harm trying. But yeah, I hope that was no better experiment than trying yourself. So yeah, back's a little bit sore and tight, hip feels a little bit strange. Great challenge, great to get yourself to do it. Great for mental resilience, but if you have arthritis, steer clear. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go and get some food now, something nice and warm. If you have tried cold water therapy, let me know how you feel about it. Obviously I've done it way underneath what the temperature recommends, so I'm not saying it doesn't work. I think it's great. All around it makes you feel amazing, so yeah, give it a go. It's just not very good for my arthritis. Oh, okay, goodbye.